One of the fundamental ideas of chemistry is the idea of atoms, elements, and compounds. So, what is an atom? Well, atoms are the simplest part of an element. What it means is that the atom cannot be divided further into anything simpler. Cannot be divided further into anything simpler. It means that if we can divide it into anything simpler, then it is no longer an atom, but is further divided into other parts which do not constitute an atom. What is an element? Well, an element is made up of similar atoms. Okay, so atoms are the simplest part of an element. Part of an element which cannot be divided further into anything simpler. The element is made up of similar atoms. Okay, and a compound. Compounds are just different atoms chemically joined together. So the atoms may be from the same element, or they may be from different elements. Okay, so these are the fundamental ideas. So they may be the same or they may be different. These are some of the fundamental ideas of chemistry, and it's really important to understand them from the start. Now, how do we represent an atom? So, representing an atom, or representing atoms. Okay, so to represent atoms, we need the atomic number, we need the mass number, and we need the symbol for the element. One of the ways you can remember what an element is to think about the famous periodic table of the elements. The periodic table. So on the periodic table are all the elements that we know of so far. We're discovering more elements, but the bulk of them have been discovered. And if you want to remember what an element is, then think about the periodic table of elements and remember that each of those substances on the periodic table are elements, and compounds are made up from the different elements combined chemically together, and that the atom is the simplest part of the element. And so coming back to how we can represent an atom, for example, say we want sodium. That is the symbol for sodium. 23 is the mass number and 11 is the atomic number. So this 23 is the mass number. Let me just write here mass number like that. That hashtag is another way to represent number, and that's the atomic number. And this is the symbol. Okay, so the basic structure of an atom, let's put a little bit to talk a bit about the structure. So the basic structure of an atom is that it's made up of a nucleus, and outside of the nucleus you've got shells. So inside of the nucleus you've got, let's change the color of that, you've got protons, which are positive. You've got neutrons, let's use black, neutrons, which are neutral, and then you've got electrons here, which are negatively charged. Now the nucleus is very small. Let's try to label this. Let's use that color. So this here is the shells. In some books they call them orbitals. And then you've got the nucleus, which is quite small, and obviously the P plus are the protons, and the E minus are the electrons, and the N naught are the neutrons. So if you'd like to watch more videos from me, hit the subscribe button. Also, you can comment and ask questions, and you can share the video on other social media.